What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the reboot of the Get It Right Saturday Night Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Francis, here with the boys, Colin Fursley
So,
and Oscar Morale. As well, we're missing one of the boys, Marco Neto. He's not here due to unforeseen circumstances, so he'll be back soon. Can't wait to see you out here, buddy. And let's get right into it. So, how's everyone doing?
I'm doing great,
I'm doing great, man. I'm
really
so happy to
excited
be back. It's been a year, and we added a brand new host with us, Oscar. I'm so happy you were able to join the
yeah, no,
podcast
man,
with us,
I'm
man.
Woo!
I'm excited. I'm excited to finally be part of this, man. I've always loved talking about it with you guys, and now I finally have the chance to join in.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, I'm
great to
excited
have
as
you,
well,
Oscar.
for sure.
New
All right.
beginnings.
So now we are going to start off this reboot of the GIRSN podcast talking about the NBA. The first wave of games just happened yesterday and the day before, NBA opening week. So we wanted to just talk about what we thought about the opening week of the NBA.
All right, so let me just start off with the Heat real quick. The Heat are already in mid-season form, giving us a heart attack, having a 17-point lead and almost blowing it to the Detroit Pistons, which is arguably or which basically was the worst team. Uh, Kyle Lowry.
So
I mean,
we have the game
0
right here.
points, 30. How many minutes did Kyle Lowry play? 31,
I mean,
32, 0 points.
yeah,
I mean,
32 points right here.
It's
that's just
not a great stat line for him, but you know what? He's a veteran. I trust him. I'm sure when crunch time comes, he knows how to play. Hey man, I honestly I don't really know how to feel about this team yet. I mean, I know it's only the first game, but I really like the rookie Jaime Jaquez Jr. I think he's gonna be
I
a
agree.
great piece for the team. And basically, I mean, this is a refurbished team from last year. You know, we lost Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, but we got a few new pieces. Tyler Hero's back, which he wasn't in the postseason, and people tend to forget that. I've seen a lot of uh discourse online when talking about the Heat, they tend to forget Tyler Hero wasn't a factor last year, and I think he's definitely going to be a big factor if they get to the playoffs this year. It's going to be a much needed piece on offense that they were looking for last year.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree. And you know, on the Tyler Hero train, I think he's going to be probably the second best scorer on the team, probably behind Jimmy Butler. But I think Duncan Robinson this year is going to have kind of like a leap or comeback year. I mean, it's evident. First game, he had 15 points in 22 minutes. That's great. And, we've been seeing him in the offseason putting in the work, and he's just. That's all I've been trying to get better at defense, trying to play on the ball better, and he's not just a 3-point shooter anymore. I mean, he's been driving in and taking
No, yeah,
some
his
some
dribble
good shots.
penetration has been absolutely phenomenal.
So
Um,
he's penetrating the paint and it's working out for him.
yeah, and with Max Strus gone, his minutes are going to go way up. So
Oh yeah,
I think you're right, Mark. He's going to have a return to form this year.
Yeah,
I hope so.
We could
absolutely.
we could possibly see him in the 3-point contest. Who knows?
You never know.
Ooh,
I would love to see him.
that would be nice. And also a lot of other games on the first couple games, Lakers Nuggets and Suns Warriors. Those were two really good games.
Yeah.
The Suns, they added Bradley Beal over the offseason. That's a very interesting pickup. So they're looking
And don't
pretty
they
good
have
right
now
now.
Kevin Durant and they have Devin
Oh,
Booker? I
Bradley
mean,
Beal. They kept DeAndre Ayton, which
yeah, that's
they
a
have
three-headed monster right there.
they have a really good team on paper. It all depends if all these guys can stay healthy. And already Devin Booker is out for today's game with a
yeah,
foot injury.
and Bradley Beal is also out for today's game with lower back pain.
So the age is
So
really kicking in on these guys.
what did
that's
you guys
funny.
think about Victor Wembanyama's debut here in this game? Even though they lost, he played pretty well, huh?
Hey man, let's keep it a bean. All I'm saying is Victor, future top 5 player of all time, get to see his career from start to finish. That's
It's a
crazy.
bold prediction.
You're
He
not
did get
wrong,
into a
but
lot of foul trouble early though.
yeah, he
Hey
did.
man,
And
first game ever as a rookie. He's 7'4". I mean, it's hard not to touch him if you're even close to the basket. I'm surprised he didn't fall out of the game actually.
That is true.
But I think he's gonna get a lot better with that. So it's kind of scary
and
actually, knowing that he's actually in the league now and that he can only get better. Like he's not gonna
That is true.
stagnate.
I agree, but one of the things that I had saw is in the last 2 minutes and 30 seconds when the game was really close, he didn't take a single shot, and he really wasn't trying to utilize his size against this Dallas Mavericks team that really doesn't have these crazy big players. So I feel like, I think he's got to start utilizing his size a little more, noticing that, yeah, in close games, maybe he's got to own up a little bit and not pass the ball to like Zach Collins, for example, because all these guys, they're great shooters, they're great players, but once you have someone who's this big who can just penetrate the paint and just move in and take shots, I mean, that's a cheat at that point. So I'd love to see him do that a little more in close games and kind of own up and move in.
Absolutely. And all eyes on this game were on Victor Wembanyama, but really the star of the game was Luka Doncic. He had a
Yeah,
Baby goat.
triple double.
33-point triple double and led the
Yeah,
Very good
Mavericks to the
point,
first win of the
Colin.
season.
That's a great point. Really this game when you boil it down to what it actually was, it's the battle of two baby goats, two future top 5 players of all time. I mean, and that's not even an over exaggeration. I mean, Luca can do everything. He's Luca Magic. He y'all
yeah.
keep sleeping on him. I think he's gonna be one of them. He's gonna be a goat.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
not wrong. And now that he's had time to practice with Kyrie, and they really building something over there. I mean, Kyrie high points as well. Luka Doncic high points. As long as they get
I
more
think,
people,
yeah,
like
I think
if
they're
they get a
one
better center.
piece. I think they're one piece away from being true contenders. The Mavericks, they got an insane player in Luka Doncic. I think they have great offensive capabilities through Kyrie Irving. They need a defensive player that kind of keeps the team united in crunch time when it counts. And I think they need one good, solid defensive player. They need that one piece, and I think that could really put them over the edge in a loaded West this year.
Oh
It's
yeah,
still up to grasp. I mean, Nuggets. I think you have to say clearly, the champions, the early favorites to come out of the West. But hey, man, if you give Luka the ball, anything can happen, man. I mean, we saw that
absolutely.
2 years ago against the Suns. We saw it in the series against the Clippers in the bubble. I mean, I would never want to see Luka in the playoffs. That's all I'm saying.
absolutely, absolutely.
Another team I think I want to just mention real quick that scary for the East is the Celtics, man. That
Oh
that
man,
that team looks scary with Porzingis over there, Tingus Pingus. I mean, this team is scary because this guy is huge. He gets rebounds and he takes threes, and then you have Jason Tatum, who already looks like he's in MVP form, taking some amazing shots and just ISOing a lot of these great players. And Jalen Brown, usual midseason form, doing average, right? Overrated as heck, but
You know what?
you know,
Hot take. I think the Celtics got worse this year. Hot take. And
yeah.
I think Kristaps is too injury prone. I don't think we'll see him in the playoffs. I think Drew Holiday doesn't actually want to be there, and his mindset is going to be a little shaky. We'll see how it progresses throughout the season. But I think the Celtics is going to be a down year for them, man. They've had 3 very prosperous years. I think it's going to be a trouble-ridden season for them.
That's true.
I mean,
That
I
is
wouldn't be
true.
surprised if they don't make it past the second round, but again, I mean, on paper, these guys look great,
Hey,
and
man,
it
on
all comes
paper,
down to
yeah,
injuries.
on paper, it's a great
So
team, man.
it's going to be a battle for the East, I'll tell you that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
man,
But we already know
tough.
who's going to make it to the finals. The Miami
Obviously,
Heat.
Oh yeah, let's
obviously.
go
Obviously,
Heat.
unbiased opinion, of course. So
Totally
I want to move
unbiased
ahead.
podcast, totally unbiased analysis at all times.
Yeah, yeah. Like
That's just
Miami
what we do
sports
here
teams,
at
like
Get It
no
Right
one,
Saturday
no
night.
one cares. Like we don't talk about the Miami teams. So, I do want to stick with the NBA for a little bit longer, but just a more broad topic. The NBA. Do you guys have any NBA season predictions? Who do you think is going to win MVP? Who do you think is going to win the finals? Just early predictions. Put it out there, just for fun.
We can go
You
through
know,
through all the major awards. I think that'd be a good thing to do. Go through all the major
MVP.
awards.
It's an interesting award because it basically comes down between three players that I think it could possibly go to: Jokic, Giannis, and Embiid. And both of them are MVPs in the last 5 years or so. They've basically all won it, and they basically all get triple doubles at least once a week. And I think I would love to see a new guy that's not one of these big men get the MVP.
You know
So
what? You know what? I'm gonna have to disagree with you there because I think it's not gonna be any of those three actually, and I think we are gonna have a brand new MVP this season. But I I can't say for certain like anybody is like clear cut favorite over anybody else. If I had to put money on it, and this is gonna sound like glazing again, but I think it's gonna be Luca. I think he's gonna have a breakout year. Last year he played well, but he had a losing record.
yep.
So like that there was his MVP case out the window. I think this year they're gonna have a winning record. They're gonna be competitive in the West. I think there's gonna be a good case for him to be made as the MVP. And hey man, all I learned from last year is if you beg hard enough, you can win an MVP.
Not
Clearly,
wrong. You're not wrong.
Hmm.
last year we saw the media included played a major factor in it. If you beg hard enough, you can win, and you're a top 10 player in the NBA, you can win an MVP.
Yeah. So that means
You're not
Jimmy Butler's
wrong.
gonna win MVP this year. All right, moving right along, we're gonna get into our next sport. Baseball. You know,
Oh yeah.
we love baseball here. People don't talk about baseball that much anymore, but it's America's national pastime. You got to talk about baseball, and we
Of
are right
course.
now, I think, one day away
From the
from
World
Game One
Series.
of the World
Yes,
Series
sir.
between
Yep.
the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers
Who would have
have
thought?
never won a World Series before. So they're trying to look for their first. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks trying to look for their second. I believe their first one was in 2001. So, not a lot of success shared amongst these two teams. But right here we have the 2023 postseason bracket picture. And the Marlins, they made the playoffs for the first time since
Yeah.
2003 when they won the World Series.
Whoa,
Besides
whoa,
the
whoa. We made the
shortened,
playoffs in
but
2020,
no,
young man.
I was gonna say besides the shortened the
Yeah.
COVID year, but that doesn't
That
count.
doesn't really count, but hey,
It,
yeah.
it, it's whatever. But anyway, we didn't really put up a fight against the Phillies.
No, not at all.
Um, not at all. 2-0 sweep in the wild card round.
They
But
were bad games
I'm personally
too.
am very happy because the Phillies and the Braves, our NL East rivals, are both out, and so I'm very happy that the Diamondbacks are in the World Series. But what are your guys' opinions on this postseason surprises, things that you assumed were going to happen? How you guys feeling about it?
You know
So,
what? Go ahead, Mark. My bad.
the Marlins, I think first of all the Marlins had a really good year. They built a good team, but with all this drama happening with our manager leaving, not manager, our uh, Kim NG, I don't know how to say her
Eng
name.
Kim Eng Kim
Yeah,
Eng.
leaving, and it seems like players aren't happy. It's gonna be interesting the next steps what the Marlins would do. But I with the Phillies and the Diamondbacks, I wouldn't have mind the Phillies been in there. I like Bryce Harper as a player. I think he's one of the most tenacious people in the league, and he just goes through. But I'm gonna start off and just say this real quick. I'm so happy the Astros lost
Oh,
because
yeah.
I do not like the Astros, and Altuve, I don't like him. Cool, bro. You're second in the most home runs in postseason, but how many of those were from banging on a trash can? Okay, so I don't even want to hear that. The Rangers, they built a team. They built a team. The
They
Yeah.
Rangers
did.
They
and the
assembled a team.
Diamondbacks.
They really did this year, and they've been pretty prosperous throughout the whole season. Like,
Oh yeah,
I think they had the most players at the All-Star game, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
I
Yeah,
believe you are
yeah, yeah.
right.
They
Yeah.
did. That
They
was
they
ridiculous.
they've been playing really good all year, and I think they're gonna win the World Series. And just something rather interesting I've noticed this offseason, you really haven't had your big name teams this year, you know?
No,
I mean, other
and
Yeah,
than Houston, and I mean LA, but the Dodgers, but I mean maybe you could say the Braves because they won it 2 years ago, 3 years, 2 years ago, right?
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I mean, yeah, it's been a bunch of hard-working teams.
yeah,
It's been a bunch of Davids and not a lot of Goliaths. I mean, you look at the ALCS championship, Texas versus Houston. I mean, that was a real David versus Goliath, and well, David won. And I think this, if you look at it to a a lesser degree, Philly was Goliath compared to the Diamondbacks, and now it's interesting to see how it's going to be in the World Series, man. I think it's going to be a
Oh
really
yeah.
tight, competitive World Series, game by game. I really think they're going to go game by game.
Yeah.
I think
I wanted to
I
touch
wouldn't
on
be
that.
surprised if those
Oh,
goes game 7, to be honest, but
yeah,
yeah.
I think game
Yeah.
6 is more realistic.
I think
Oh, who you got? Who you got?
whoever wins game 1 and game 5, if it's split, well, then I don't know. But I think if anybody wins game 1 and game 5, I think they're going to win. I think those are going to be two major marquee matchups in this World
Yeah.
Series.
Mark, who you got in the World Series?
I think it's gonna be the Rangers. I think they're just their their team is just hitting so well right now,
Yeah.
and you can't
Adolis
really stop
Garcia,
that.
especially, he's been a beast.
Absolutely, and
They've they've got a pretty
Diamondbacks pitching is
balanced.
good.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks, I would say, have a little bit better pitching, but I think the Rangers have a more balanced bullpen.
Yeah.
You know, just on a game by game basis, they can turn out a bit more quality on a game by game basis. I think more balanced bullpen, but hey, man, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah. And I also wanted to touch on, Oscar, what you mentioned earlier about all the Davids are doing really well in the playoffs. It's so interesting because the Diamondbacks are they're the lowest seed in the NL, and I think they might have been actually the lowest seed in the entire playoff bracket, including the AL and the NL. They made it
Mhm.
all the way to the World Series.
And
The
I believe
Rangers,
they're bottom 10 in payroll as
oh
well.
wow,
So they are
yeah,
not a team that is paying hundreds of millions of dollars to their players. A lot of
hmm
these players are rookies, or a lot of these players are on minimal contracts. They're
Yeah,
not building a super team like how the Dodgers have, how the Phillies and how the Braves have, paying these players 200,
yeah,
300 million
yeah.
dollars.
yeah,
And that rookie
So
Corbin Carroll, he's been stellar in
he's
this
been
rookie season.
yeah.
something
He's been
else.
So
great.
the Diamondbacks, they ran through everyone. They ran through the Dodgers, maybe some people's favorites to win the whole thing, and the Braves, the number one seed in the entire league, lost to the Phillies. So a lot of these big name teams are losing. The Astros, they've won, I don't even know what, 3 of the last 5 World Series. It feels like it could be
Yeah, the
something like
Astros
that.
just somebody
Like they're
please get them out of here.
so they finally lost. The Orioles had a breakout year. Everyone was on the Orioles train, and they lost in their first round of the ALDS, swept by the Rangers. The Rangers swept the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, which was really,
Insane.
really impressive. Uh, and yeah, I mean, I think it's really cool that all these teams that are not really favored to win have been making it this far. Even last year, the Phillies made it all the way to the World Series, and they ran through the Dodgers and the Braves, and so in the NL, some of the lesser known teams are making it all the way. And one of my friends told me actually earlier, this is the first World Series, and I think about five since I think 2016. This is the first World Series since the Guardians, Cubs, World Series in 2016, where the Dodgers or the Astros have not been in the World Series.
Yep,
Since
I
then, either
saw
the
that as well.
Astros or the Dodgers have been in the World Series. It's the first one. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great matchup. And I'm going to go with the Rangers as well. But if the Diamondbacks win, I will not be surprised in the least bit.
I
That is a really
I would
great
not
team,
be
and
either.
I'm rooting for the Diamondbacks.
I think the Diamondbacks, if their pitching is as stellar as how it has been, and the Rangers just can't get on it, I think the Diamondbacks are gonna fly through them.
It
But
would be an amazing Cinderella story. That would be for sure.
Yeah. And I
oh
also
yeah,
forgot to mention, I just noticed this now on the bracket. The Diamondbacks also swept the Dodgers in the ALDS. I did not realize that at first. Really
yeah. But if
impressive
you
stuff
notice,
here
actually,
by the
both
Dodgers.
teams in the World
Doing
Series
very well.
swept in the first and second round. So
Yeah.
it's been a sweep train over here. I mean,
Yeah.
someone get a mop.
Yeah. And then both CSs went to game 7. So
Yep.
things can only pick up from here. We
Hey,
now will move ahead to college football. We're here. I think we can say
this is
that,
a
at
spicy
least for me
one.
and Mark, Oscar as well. We're football guys. All right.
Yeah.
We love all sports, but football, college, and the NFL is where we're at. That's what we know most about. That's what we love the most. So, let's go to college football. I'm gonna pull up the AP poll right here. Right here. This is the current rankings for this college football season. And not a lot of surprises at the top there. But you guys take it away. What are you seeing right now in college football?
Major game this weekend.
Yeah.
Major game.
Between who?
I think Georgia and Florida. I know UF is really uh in the contending right now, but I think if they were to upset Georgia, I think that ruins a lot of what Georgia's trying to build on right now, and I think that would be a pretty interesting game to watch. I mean, there's also SEC rivals. Uh, you know, it's just a major game all around. I think any year, whenever these two play, it's a great game. And I mean Georgia clearly on top right now and trying to repeat, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They're trying to three-peat,
And
Oscar. They're trying to
yeah,
three-peat. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. They went on a tear.
yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think that would also be the first time uh since Alabama did it, no? Right?
Uh, I'm not
I'll look it up right
100%
now.
sure. I don't
You
think
know,
they did,
I
but
think one of the big games this week that, could really pull a team up or down, it's gonna be Oregon versus Utah. And,
yeah, for sure.
both teams are top 15 right now. If Oregon wins, I mean, that could really shoot them up to 7 or 6 even, and really get them closer. And it all depends now on how these undefeated teams are gonna do. Oklahoma. I mean, who- they all there's always a game where Oklahoma loses, and it's always a heartbreaker because it's usually by a field goal. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, and if Oregon wins and they're just able to move up. I mean, it's possible that they could even make it to the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
And
And last week
you
was
know,
really interesting. Teams, like a lot of the teams in the top 10, besides Penn State, obviously losing a tough one to Ohio State. Um, all those teams most of the teams that played, Florida State, Washington, Oklahoma, Texas, and Oregon, they all played subpar opponents, and they all almost lost. They really struggled.
yeah,
All those teams I just mentioned last week. Oklahoma beat UCF because a terrible 2-point conversion call that shouldn't have happened. Washington, they couldn't score until a pick six in the fourth quarter, I believe. Florida State was struggling against Duke all game until um, Riley Leonard went down with that injury. Uh,
Hey man,
and it's
not
just
too
been
much on
tough.
Duke. Duke's been playing really good this year. I mean, they're top
Yeah,
20. They went down 4 spots because of their loss to Florida State. So you can really say they're top 16, fringe top 15 team.
that is
So
true.
they've been playing way above their expectations for this year. And to
Yeah,
get back to what I was saying earlier, this is the first time if Georgia three-peats, it would be something extremely historic. For the first
yeah,
time since the Minnesota Golden Gophers from in 1934 to 1936. So at the very start of the whole era, something crazy. Not even an
that's some
Alabama
great
team could have done
research.
it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Hey man, and also a surprising a disappointment really, but that's surprising. I picked USC to make the top four to make the playoff at the start of the year, and they have fallen off a cliff, losing to Utah on a game-winning field goal last week. Now they're at 24. Do you guys think they can pick it up, or are they dead in the water?
I mean,
They would
Caleb
need.
Williams.
I don't, I
I
think
don't know, man.
they can finish their season strong, but I think like truly if they want like if they make it to the playoffs, it'd have to be a miracle like of some sort.
Oh no, no, no! They're not making the playoff.
I don't
That's
think they're
done
gonna
and
make it to
over
the
with.
playoffs. I
No,
think
Yeah,
they've
they
been
I
playing
don't
sloppy football.
yeah, I
To be
don't
honest,
think
I think they've
so.
no,
been
they're
playing
Yeah.
really sloppy
no,
football.
yeah,
Some of these play calls have not been great. Caleb Williams seems to be in a little bit of a slump. I mean, maybe he's thinking about this whole NFL draft now, Like, yeah, he doesn't want to go to the Chicago Bears. Okay, I mean, I get that. No one wants to go to the Chicago Bears, the Bears, right? But I
Speaking of
mean, you
which,
got to get that out of your head. You got to lock in. I mean, this is a team that has really, really good players, and I mean, Caleb Williams, he's a great quarterback. I mean,
yeah,
this kid could really thrive in the NFL. I mean, you see him compared to a lot of these NFL players, the way he dominates in the pocket, and even when the pocket's collapsing, able to get throws out there and escape. I mean, this kid, his presence is going to be shown in the NFL. But if he's struggling like this in college football and NFL, when you have people like Nick Bosa coming at you and you're about to get sacked by probably right now the defensive player of the year, right? you're done.
Hey. Miles Garrett, come on now.
Myles Garrett. We'll get to him later in the NFL
Well,
segment of this
speaking of
podcast.
which, you touched on that shortly, Mark, but I was telling Colin, hey man, with the way USC has been playing and some of the events that have been happening in the NFL, I think the first overall pick might not even be a quarterback.
Yeah,
It is possible. I,
it's
I was gonna
very
ask, do you
possible.
guys think Caleb Williams' performance will hurt his draft stock at all, or do you think he's still going number one?
Uh, you know, I think it's yes and no. I think that some of these teams that are with these high picks aren't looking for a quarterback. They're not shopping for a quarterback, so I don't think he's going to be top 5 pick unless a team trades
Oh
up
wow.
and goes for him.
Yeah,
So you don't so
if
you
he,
don't even think he's going top 5?
I don't really think so. I mean,
Wow.
the Bears have 2 picks, right?
right, I think they have
The
one and two,
Broncos are up
right?
there.
They have one
Yeah,
and two.
actually right now 1 and 2, yeah. And
So
then you have the Broncos up there who have Russell Wilson, and I don't think they're gonna betray Russell Wilson because they paid him so much money. And then the Cardinals, um, I think Kyler Murray is on his way, and I think he'll be back. And I don't think they pick a quarterback.
hey man,
I think
I'll,
Marvin Harrison could get
yeah,
taken and ahead of
that's
him.
exactly what I was telling Colin. I'm like, hey, if things keep going like they're going right now, Marvin Harrison could be the first overall pick
Yeah,
to the
the
Chicago
Bears.
Bears. They pair him
Yeah,
up next to DJ Moore, who's fifth in the league right now in receiving yards. So he's having a career year, and um, they pick up a defensive monster for their second overall pick, and the Bears could start looking a little bit better, man.
I agree. I really do agree.
I don't know. I don't know about the Bears getting that number one overall pick. I know they had the Panthers pick. They're currently last in the league, but I feel like Bryce Young can pick it up later in the season. Maybe the Bears won't get the number one overall pick, but we can discuss that later. As I mentioned, I didn't want to say
Yes.
one more thing about college football, unless you guys wanted to add on more to it. But I
Oh, go
always like to
ahead.
look at the rankings and see these really unknown, not unknown, but not really popular teams that creep into the top 25. And Air Force and James Madison are both in the top 25 over the likes of
Yep.
UF, different
Come on
teams like
now.
that. So I just thought that was really interesting. I don't know if you guys had any opinion on how that's going.
Come on now. Oh, that wasn't even subtle at all. I know what you did there.
Hey man, hey man.
Look at this guy.
If
This
UF
guy, man.
if UF and if UF and UM aren't in the top
You
25,
can't
I'm a
even
happy man.
you can't talk, bro. You a FSU fan who goes to
Yeah, and
UF.
we're top 4 in the country, buddy. That
All
let's
right, all right.
go.
Well,
Hold on, wait. You may be top 4, but
Mm-hmm.
the
you know,
Colorado School of Mines is
Oh
ranked
my god.
number 1 in D2 RMAC. Okay, so all right, we may be
Congratulations. Ore
D2, but
diggers.
hey,
We love the ore
we're
diggers.
we're number 1. Go Ore Diggers. Okay, all right. So don't sleep on us. We're out here at the Colorado School of Mines live. Okay, number 1, baby. That's all I got to say.
hey man, not too much on UM. Honestly, this past weekend, you could make a case. It was, well, never mind. I mean, you could make a case, but it wasn't the game of the weekend. It was an overtime thriller versus Clemson, ACC divisional rival. I mean, Clemson won the division last year. Uh, so it was really good. I was at the game. It was phenomenal. I loved the game. Go Canes. But yeah, man, this year it's been quite a roller coaster of a ride, man. Great 4 games. Kind of like the Dolphins didn't really beat anybody. Their first loss came to the stupidest college football play of the season, for sure.
Talk
Um,
about that so bad.
a
That was a month
fireable,
ago.
a
That was
fireable offense, a fireable
He'd be
offense.
gone. In my opinion,
oh
he's
my god.
gone.
Dare I may
He
Get
say,
him out of here.
I mean, he's got a great record for college football, 6-2, but still, man, like, I mean, they could have
man,
been
I was
better.
watching that
If
game.
they would have been
It was so
if they
much
would
fun.
have been 7-1 right now with a loss to UNC, they would have been much better, not just standings wise, but also I think mentality wise. They've been playing a lot of good spurts, but they're missing consistency. And you know what? Maybe this is a setup for next year. hopefully the Canes do better next
You
year.
never know.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
you never know.
Hopefully
But
not, but you never know.
I'm appreciating the season for what it is. It's a step up from the decade of mid we've had.
Uh, yeah, man. Well, we're gonna go ahead into the NFL portion of
Let's
the
go.
podcast. All of our favorites right
Spicy,
here. But first,
spicy.
before we talk about real life NFL, we love the fantasy world of the
Oh yeah.
NFL.
Oh yeah.
So y'all trying to talk about some fantasy football? What's going on? How your team's been?
I'm dominating.
You're dominating.
I'm
Wow.
dominating in
Well,
most of my leagues.
I was about to say
How is this?
most of your
Okay, how
leagues,
about this?
because
We're in multiple leagues, but we're one of the leagues that we're in. Like we're all together, along with
yeah,
Mark
we're
and
all
Lucas, who are not
together.
here right now, and other friends. So let's talk about that league. The league that we're collectively in. How's
I
it
would
going?
be 6-1 right now if I hadn't lost by point 0.8 to Colin, and
How's
that'd be the
tough,
best
man.
record in the
I
league.
I am currently second in the whole league, just behind Tyler, barely behind Tyler. I've got a great record, 5-2. You know, my losses, just some of my players had bad weeks, but I'm really happy with my team. Had a major blockbuster trade the other day with fellow co-host Colin Fursley. I think it was a great trade for both of us. But I'm not
Thanks,
gonna
Jose.
lie, I think I got the better end of the stick. Not gonna lie.
Well, see, we both had different needs. I needed a running back, so I got my running back. Mark, you saw the trade, I assume.
I did see the trade, and
What unbiased opinion? What do you think of it?
all right. So hold on, let me pull it up real quick.
Look at
Okay.
both rosters
Okay.
too. I think
Basically,
it's important to look at both
I sent
rosters.
Adam Thielen and honestly and Alexander Madison
Hmm.
to Oscar in return for surprising fantasy player. He's doing really well for some reason. Jacoby Myers and Derrick Henry because I needed a running back, so I got Derrick Henry. I have a bunch of receivers. I sent Adam Thielen. I think for me, I did well because I got my
I
running back. Oscar
I
did well
think
because Adam
with
Thielen's going
I think the
crazy.
team that Oscar has, I think Oscar kind of did win that trade.
Mhm.
Um, I think the big thing is that Derrick Henry has been literally doing 50-50 touches, and he's doing the worst that he's ever been in his career.
Well,
Adam
well,
Thielen,
yeah, pretty much.
That's true.
he's doing great, and props to
He
him.
he is the Carolina offense.
I think he's gonna fall off just a little bit now that they're handing
I agree.
down
I
the.
agree. I actually spoke about that in the trade to Colin. I'm like, you know what? Thielen's production is gonna drop, but for what I need him to be, I need him to be a WR2. He's beyond a perfect candidate to be my WR2, and that gives me some really good flex play now. I could swap out DJ Moore for uh, Madison or maybe even Gus Edwards. Now that I started using him a little bit more, it's a great pickup by me a few weeks ago. I mean, how maybe if D Hop starts playing better the second half of the league, I can put him as my flex.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad I got my starters down. You know, great draft by me. I drafted Mostert and Jonathan Taylor. And Jonathan Taylor, I mean, so far, he's only been on the uptick, had a great third game, dropped 21 points in fantasy. And I mean, I don't think I have to speak much on Mostert. Second best running back in all of fantasy, arguably the best running back in the AFC right now in real life. I think the most touchdowns in the NFL throughout 7 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me
I
check
think
that
so.
for you. Yep. Most touchdowns of 9. Right behind him is Christian McCaffrey with 8.
So, I mean, Raheem the Dream has been putting in great work for me.
Hey, I agree. I
And
mean,
no, you go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
I think I have a pretty decent team as well. I think
Oh
I
yeah,
drafted some decent sleepers like Nico Collins and Michael Pittman, just been really solid players.
I
Um,
agree.
I did also make a trade in our league. I got T.J. Hawkinson and Zay Flowers, and I sent over Damian Pierce and Cortland Sutton, and then one more player. I forget who it was. And Dallas Goddard. And I think I did pretty well in that trade. I got the second best tight end in the league right now and a really good wide receiver one for a team that's been ramping it up. So,
Yeah, no, your team's looking pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie. I lost you week 1.
yeah.
My players had a slow start to the season. Mahomes lost versus Detroit. You guys remember that? They only lost so far. So yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a good season. I'm I know this might sound like personal bias, but I'm expecting to make it to the Super Bowl.
Hey, I mean,
I
I
like
hope
my
I can make it
chances.
too. I
I
like
like
my
my
chances too.
chances.
I like my chances too. My team, it's on the come up. I'm 4-3 currently. I was 4-2. I just lost.
You would be
You,
3-4, buddy. Okay, you would
Yeah.
be.
first of all, I beat you fair and square. It's not my fault. Austin Eckler
Oh
just
no,
sucks right now.
you beat me.
Okay.
You beat me fair and square, but you
Second
beat
of
me by
all,
point 0.8 of
last
points.
week I lost because the person I went up against dropped 177 points. That's not my fault.
You see,
Okay,
that's
all
why
of you
we
guys are
don't
ridiculous.
allow Tyler Fursley in our league.
Okay, man. Okay.
Colin,
Well,
every dog has his day, man. Every dog has
Yeah,
his
bro.
day.
I know. I just can't. This can't keep happening to me, man. My running backs. See, the thing is, like, why I got Derrick Henry. My starting running back was Jerome Ford. He dropped 17, pretty good. But now he's injured. And then my backup running back after that, let me check, is well, it was Alexander Madison, who's been bad. So I'm like, I don't want Alexander Madison. Throw him away. Give me Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry, yes, he has not been performing as well as I would hope, but he's much better than Alexander Madison. So he gives me a better opportunity to win. Also, with the trade, like I said, I got Jacoby Myers. So I have DK Metcalf. He's not playing so well, and he's a little hurt. So I'm going to put in Jacoby Myers. The only problem is, which is not that big of a problem because they're both been playing pretty well. My two starting receivers are Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. They're both on the same team, but they've both been going crazy, so I don't mind it
Yeah.
at all. And then my flex, Christian Kirk had a great 19-point performance in Thursday Night Football. So I think he's been doing pretty well. And my tight end, number one fantasy tight end in the league, Sam Laporta, got him off the waivers in like the second or third week, and I do not regret that decision at all. So my
Oh, that
team's
was a
looking pretty
great
good. Not gonna lie.
acquisition by you.
Yeah.
The only thing I need right now is Josh Jacobs to turn it up a little bit. It might be a little concerning that the Raiders suck, and I have three of their players on my team. But other than that,
Raiders.
other than that, it's looking up. And if DK Metcalf can start actually playing, I mean, sorry, not DK Metcalf, my bad. If Joe Burrow can start playing football, I'll be just fine.
Hey, and you mentioned Thursday Night Football, and hey, we're filming this currently on a Thursday, so
Yeah.
I think
I
why
think
don't
it's
we
time we
just
do predictions.
do our little
Well, wait, hold
predictions
on.
for the
Whoa,
week?
yeah,
Wait,
before we do
before,
predictions,
okay,
I think you're
before
right.
we
We
do the
do a recap.
predictions, we're gonna do a recap of week 7. So
Okay.
let's go
All right.
now
Recap of week
to
7 or a quick recap of the season thus far? And what do we think of
you
all the
can mix
favorite
in a
teams
little
so far?
you can mix in a little bit of whatever you want. I have the games here. This is the week 7
Yeah, we can
slate.
go, like, as we talk about each game in week 7, we can go kind of recapping the teams and being
Yeah,
like
for
what we
sure.
like about them.
So
Yeah, I like that. I
first,
like
let's
that.
start it off. Thursday night football, Jaguars versus Saints. What were you guys feeling on this game?
Travis Etienne's going crazy.
Oh
Yeah,
I mean,
he's.
it's,
I mean, he looks like he's
two
gonna make the Pro
touchdowns.
Bowl. He's gonna look like he's gonna be all pro.
Two
He,
yeah.
touchdowns in
yeah.
the last 3 games is insane. I believe if he does it for one more game, last time anyone had done that was in the 40s or 50s, something like that, many years ago. So that's going to be something historic. But the Jaguars are playing great. I mean, they have a really good offense over there, and their
Yeah,
defense is
man, the
pretty good too.
Jags are great. 5-1,
Jags
right?
have been doing great. The Raiders versus the Bears, two teams not playing well at all. But the Bears, Tyson Bagent, man, I'm just like Division two quarterback. It brings hope to me.
Hey,
People can make it to the NFL.
he lost to the Colorado School of Mines. So
Oh, really?
yeah, he did.
Wow, I did
Wow.
not know that.
He lost.
What an
He played
interesting
against the
fact.
he got sacked I think 7 times in that game, and yeah, he lost to us. So that means
Wow.
we're better. That means we're better than the Raiders and the Bears because the
Hey, man.
person that beat the Raiders lost to the Colorado School of Mines,
Okay, man. You
which
can
means
stop
we're
talking
just
about
better.
Ore Diggers.
Hey, man,
All
I'm
right.
Go
looking
Ore Diggers.
at the standings right now, and I just gotta say, man, the Saints have had such a subpar season.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
acquired Derek Carr in the offseason. They have great offensive weapons, great receiving core, Chris Olave, Michael Thomas. I mean, he came back from injury. He's had an injury-prone last 2 years. I think people kind of slated him off. Not really put too much emphasis on him. This was going to be a really good year for him, and the Saints just I mean, I haven't even mentioned Alvin Kamara, who is a great running back, a receiving running back.
He's going insane. I mean, he's only played for 3 weeks, and he's already leading the league running backs in receptions by over 10. He has 36 right now, and I believe the person below him has 24. which is Christian McCaffrey. So
Yeah,
that's just insane. I mean, this
Yeah. But
it's
the
just
Saints as a whole, man, like they just haven't been able to figure it out, and what I want to say is in the worst position you can be in football. That's a dead even in the middle, man. They're not good enough to really make a playoff push, I don't think, but they're not bad enough to get good draft picks. So I think they got to figure out what they're gonna do real quick if they want to actually do something with that team, man, because they got great
yeah,
players, and I would hate to see all of that talent go to waste, man.
yeah.
absolutely.
And the
And
Jags
there was
doing
there
great,
was a
man.
crazy game last week as well between the Browns and the Colts. 39-38. Just looking at the score, you knew it was wild. Blocked field goals. Miles Garrett had a career day. It was ridiculous watching that game. But man, we'll talk about this more later when we get
You
to.
could even say Miles Garrett had an all-time performance, man. That was
Oh no,
crazy.
It was insane.
absolutely.
But I mean,
The,
you
the
have to give props to the Colts for going up against the defense that gives up the least amount of yards passing and rushing. So the fact that Gardner Minshew is able to go out there and Jonathan Taylor is able to play how he did, you know, kudos to them and their coaching. That was really good out there. But
yeah.
the Browns just got the best of them, and
Well,
you can't be
no,
mad at that.
I'm smart. I have to disagree with you. The Browns did not get the best of them. The Colts should have won that game, and we'll discuss this more when we get to Sunday Night Football.
But still, a
But
W is a W.
the Colt no, the Colts did not get beat by the Browns. The
Yeah,
Colts
I know.
got beat by the
I saw,
refs.
and
The
the
Colts
refs
got beat by the refs. The refs last week sucked. They were
and
horrible.
you know the NFL came out and said that the refs made the wrong call.
Two
They
two wrong calls.
Publicly, yeah.
They messed up two wrong
so
calls.
so
Publicly,
yeah, you know
yeah.
it's unfortunate, but I mean at that time, if we didn't know about that, it's tough, man.
Hey, man,
Tough loss for the Colts.
Well,
speaking of the Browns, they're 4-2.
they are four and
They're
two.
they're in a pretty good spot. And
With
They have a great defense.
if you would have asked, I would say not even just an avid NFL fan, but the average NFL fan, what do you think the most competitive division would be this year? They would have either told you the AFC East, maybe the NFC West, or the AFC West. Hey man, I think it's the AFC North. Got the Ravens
Yeah.
at 5-2, the Steelers
Yeah.
and the Browns at 4-2, and Cincy, the team who's been extremely competitive for the last damn near 3 years, went to the Super Bowl, are 3-3 at the bottom of their division.
Yeah. Well,
Nearly halfway through the season.
Speaking of the Ravens, they absolutely swamped the Lions, the brand new Lions. We're gonna go crazy this year.
The
Lions have been
incredible
absolutely-
Lions.
The Lions have been amazing. I think this was just a bad game. They're still a great team, but wow, the Ravens really put a statement.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, man. The Ravens, yeah. I
Yeah.
think this is their call out game to tell the rest of the league, hey man, we're here and anyone can come get some. Because Lamar's been playing incredible this year, even though
Absolutely.
the team hasn't played like to a stupendous level. I mean, when you talk about the Ravens, you usually talk about inconsistency problems, but Lamar has been their one sort of consistent player all year long. The defense is coming into their own. They're finding their groove. It's a really scary defense, man. I'm not gonna lie, especially as a Dolphins fan, because we're probably gonna see them in the playoffs if both teams end up staying, of
Oh,
course.
we see them. We see them in the regular season as well. Later
I
on down
know,
the
week
line.
18, December 31st, a New Year's game. That's
Oh, it's week 18. Oh. No, that's not week 18, but it's later down the line though. It's
You know, but
I know
That's
it's
gonna be
December
scary.
31st. Is it not week 18?
Okay.
It might be week
No,
17.
no.
so
It's like
you know
I don't know.
the Ravens. I mean Lamar. Arguably, people could argue say it's possible if he ramps things up a little more. I mean he's in the MVP conversation, right? But you know this Ravens
It's
team has
just
been without their running backs. I mean their two-star running backs injured, right? I mean that's absolutely brutal, and they have these random guys who half of them you never heard of as their running backs. You know, besides Lamar Jackson, but I mean, they're throwing the ball well. I mean, Zay Flowers, he's getting the ball. Odell, he's there. I mean, he has his presence. I feel like Odell, his presence over there is more as you have a veteran who's
yeah, he's
very
veteran leader.
experienced,
Yeah, for sure.
and he's helping this team. I mean, mentally. I mean, he's
I
a
think he's
Super Bowl
also
winner.
a mentor for Zay Flowers.
I think so as well. I mean, and you can tell. I mean, Zay Flowers, he's playing
He's
out of
getting
his
better.
mind.
I think, yeah, he's been getting better every game. You can see it. He's finding his groove now. And yeah, man. I I don't know about Lamar. You could say he's playing like an MVP. He's maybe in that conversation, but even if he plays like absolutely out of his mind for the rest of the season, I just don't see him winning MVP because of how stacked the quarterbacks are in the AFC right now.
Yeah,
I mean, you got
yeah,
Tua truly playing out of his mind on pace to beat the passing yards record. You have Patrick Mahomes being the best quarterback talent the league has ever seen, period. Uh, I mean, hey man,
you
there's
know,
just a lot of narratives and a lot of other factors at play that just would prohibit him specifically from winning the MVP, especially because he already won one a few years ago. But hey man, like like the AFC after, even though the first few weeks you're thinking, man, like is this really the AFC? You know, a lot of teams were losing. We're starting to ramp things up again. It's getting to that time of the year where the big boys are coming out and they're getting the
yeah.
wins. Yeah, the AFC teams are stepping it up. They're getting wins again.
And you know what? One of the big games I want to talk about definitely was the Bills and the Patriots because
Oh
two
yeah.
division rivals who the Patriots have just been, at least before this game, the last 2, 3 games have been doing atrocious. I mean, Mac Jones is getting benched every single game, right?
Well,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
They've
they
been
can't even
terrible on
score
offense.
touchdowns.
They've always had good defense. You know, Bill Belichick, mastermind of the game. Just crazy defensive mind. And I mean, you've seen it throughout the whole year. Their defense has been the Patriots. Like there is
Yeah,
no offense on that team, and it's basically like playing a 2v1 for them because it's just their defense that's playing. And it's been, I would say it's maybe not stats wise top five, but you look at the games, you look at the eye test, you could say it is, man. I mean, they kept that Miami team in check, our Miami team in check week two. You know, it wasn't a crazy performance. They don't necessarily pressure quarterbacks all the time, but they definitely don't make them feel comfortable. That's for sure.
yeah.
Quarterbacks, you can see in most of their games, they're second guessing, seeing either overthrowing or not throwing it at the right time. I mean, they got a good defense, man. If the offense could step it up a little, maybe the Bills don't make it to the playoffs.
Well,
You know,
they're
anything's
not gonna make the
possible.
playoffs. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're bad. Okay, they're just bad. No one likes either of these teams. This was my favorite game
Yeah,
because
favorite game of the
Bill.
week, man.
This was my favorite game of the week because the Patriots suck. So even though they won, I'm not worried about them. I love to make fun of the Buffalo Bills.
Hey,
Oh,
It's
screw
I
the
such fun.
Bills,
love
bro.
it, man. I'm so
Making fun of the
happy.
Bills, making fun of
This
the
was a
Bills is
gift of
almost
God. This is a gift of
making
God
fun of
that
the
the
Bills
Bills
is
lost
almost
this
just
week.
as fun as watching the Dolphins win.
There is
They're so
only
bad.
one
It's
real
so
Josh Allen
fun.
in the league, and he plays for the Jaguars, not this random quarterback for the Bills, okay? So I do not want to hear about Josh Allen, MVP this, MVP that. It's been Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. That's it. No one else is there. Your team dog water, okay?
Hey, man.
Your corner injured, gone. That's it. Game over, guys. You,
With
you, you rethink. This is not your year, okay? You've
yeah,
lost
no,
in you've lost in the playoffs in overtime, twice in a
definitely,
row.
yeah, not their year
That's it.
at all,
Gotta
definitely.
rebuild.
And you know what? Dare I say, Madden cover curse? Madden
Yeah.
cover curse, perhaps? Is
Hey
this what's
man,
happening right now?
It's
as long as the
possible.
Dolphins player is not on the cover of Madden, I'm all for the Madden curse. The only thing that sucked about this game is that Bill Belichick 300th win. He's getting close to Shula. I don't like it, but he ain't gonna get there because
Bro,
he's
he's
gonna
gonna
get fired.
retire anyway, bro.
He's gonna get fired. It's fine. The Patriots have not been looking good.
Well,
He's
actually,
The
I
gonna
don't think
Bills
he is gonna get
not a good
fired
either.
because he signed a multi-year
Yeah,
extension.
but
Actually,
I think what's gonna
Yeah,
happen is he's gonna
yeah.
follow in the footsteps of LeBron and become the GM, man. I think that's what's gonna
yeah,
happen
Le GM.
with Bill
Yeah.
Belichick.
Well, just to touch on some of the other games, Chiefs looking dominant. I'm personally surprised the Steelers beat the Rams. The Broncos beat the
You know what?
Packers, which
I
is
am
just sad.
Dude, I'm
I
surprised. I mean,
yeah,
Broncos
that
country let's ride. They actually rode for once, guys. I want to keep flaming you. Keep losing, please. I love it.
All
you
right,
know,
now
I think we
oh,
didn't
go
even
ahead, go ahead.
cover the Atlanta and Tampa game, but I mean, it was
Besides
just
besides
it
Kyle
was the
Pitts'
bat.
disgusting catch, it was
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was is the battle of mid, man.
Yeah, it really
yeah.
was.
Two teams on the come up. That you can say, wow, they're pretty good, but they're gonna have a better season next year. Uh,
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's
man,
skip ahead to
keep
Monday
fighting, you
Night Football.
guys. That's what I
Yeah,
have to say to
yeah,
the
exactly.
Falcons
You
and
got
Tampa
this.
Bay
Go
It's so
Bucks.
Buccaneers.
it's so funny that our team is no longer mid anymore. It's
But
like a
you know
weird
what?
feeling
I
that we
think,
can make fun of
yeah,
the mid teams.
yeah. But you know what? The
What
Steelers,
is up?
I think they're really good, man, and I think they have a shot at making it to the playoffs. I really do. Yeah, man. I was just saying. I think the Rams. You can see every week they're in it. They're competitive. Surprisingly, kind of like the Cardinals, but except better. I would definitely say the Rams are a lot better than the Cardinals, but
Yeah.
just from what you've seen of them, you expect them to be better, but they always seem to find that last step to get them over the line. And the Steelers is just typical Steelers football, man. They find weird ways to win games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, my Mike Tomlin, he's Houdini.
yeah, he's not
TJ
the one that can
Watt is
lose
having a
much.
career year, dare I
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
Don't
Wow.
count him
Yeah.
out of the Defensive Player of the Year
You know,
conversation.
I think the two big games we really should talk about were Sunday Night Football and
Monday
Monday Night
night,
Football
All
because,
right,
yeah.
man,
let's talk about Monday night first. All right, we got the
yeah,
49ers versus the Vikings. Surprise there,
I
but
watched that whole game.
yeah,
You
what'd
know
you think
what?
of it?
You know what I think happened? I think the script writers forgot to tell Kirk Cousins it was a Monday night game because
Yeah.
That is true.
You like that? You
Why
like
Tom
that?
Crick like
You
that,
see,
man?
one of the big things I noticed is, Justin Jefferson, he's a great player, but if you're a wide receiver one for Kirk Cousins, you're getting the ball. And that is that is evident with Jordan Addison going absolutely berserk.
Yeah,
Berserk. I
yeah,
mean,
he had a great game.
it is insane. And you know what, Justin Jefferson coming back, and now that you see that Kirk Cousin has trusted Jordan Addison, they have a good wide receiver duo there.
I do
But
think so. And
yeah,
to kind of piggyback off your point there, and perhaps this may be a little bit I don't know of a hot take, but JJ is clearly a top 3 receiver in the league, no questions about it.
yeah,
But perhaps the system he's playing in benefits him majorly.
yeah.
I mean, no flaw in that. I mean, every team, that's their goal to get their players a system to where they can thrive in the most. That's not shade on that, but I think that just goes to show the great offensive minds they have over in Minnesota. They can
And
make it work
and
with anybody.
that whole system mentality, in my opinion, really is right now the 49ers, right?
Oh
Because,
yeah,
you know, people are saying Brock Purdy this, Brock Purdy that. Yeah, he's a good quarterback. All right, don't get me wrong, he's playing good, but he has the best running back in the league to throw to, one of the best tight ends. He has the best offensive line. He has the best defense in the league. Okay, and the Vikings got the better of him.
I
The
don't think they
Vikings
have the best
defense,
offensive line, but I think the Eagles do. But
they 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 have a really good offense. I mean, you're not wrong.
yeah,
Eagles probably did have the best offensive line, but the Vikings defense. I mean, this really was a defensive show. I mean, there were fumbles everywhere, interceptions everywhere. I mean, this really showed how good the Vikings defense can be when they actually play how they're supposed to.
hey man, my
And the
key
49ers just
takeaway,
couldn't get it
yeah,
done.
my key takeaway from this game is the 49ers are human? Question mark. Hey
The
man,
49ers overhyped. I mean,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, they're still really good.
Yeah, they're an insane team, but they're
I don't
looking.
think they're gonna make it to the NFC Championship.
Uh,
I
I
don't
could
think so.
see
Who's
that
gonna make it to
maybe.
who's gonna make it to the NFC Championship then?
You know, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it's gonna be the Eagles for sure.
Yeah,
Versus
And
maybe the Lions. Who knows?
that's what I was
That would be
exactly gonna say.
interesting.
I
But
think
the
I don't
Lions are
think
the
so.
close.
That
It's
would be
Lions
happening.
a
that
crazy story.
that would be such
But
a
yeah,
great
man, 2 straight losses for the
great game.
49ers. I mean, who would have thunk that, huh? I mean, yeah, man. I think the 49ers will bounce back. Great coaching.
Yeah,
Kyle Shanahan, I mean, one of the best in the
one
game.
of the best.
You know who's
Great
better though? Mike
team. They're
McDaniel.
gonna bounce
I love
back.
Mike McDaniel, man.
Hey, man.
I look up
Hey,
to this
man.
guy. I mean, I'm gonna say it here,
Mike
dude. I love
McDaniel's,
this guy.
yeah, great guy.
All right.
Hilarious.
He's just great.
Funniest head coach in the league. Can we agree? Thank you.
Absolutely. You know what else was funny? You know what else we like to make a joke out of the refs? Let's move on to
Yeah,
Sunday Night Football.
the
Dolphins,
officiating
Eagles.
in the
Yeah, what the
Sunday night game.
What in
was
the
that?
flipping flip was that? Okay,
All right.
we're child friendly, so no cursing.
Yeah.
But what the was that? Okay,
Yeah, that
like
was
come on.
absolutely atrocious.
Zero
man. I
call.
don't, yeah, I
How
don't know
many?
what to tell you.
I saw more face masks than I did during COVID.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
that was
believe you. I
insane.
saw it.
That was
I mean,
insane.
0 penalties for the Eagles. I think only 5 teams or so have done that in the history of the NFL. What the hell?
That's just
Like, that is not normal.
I don't get it. I really don't, because there
And
are
there were
penalties everywhere.
there were some blatant calls. I know you can break down every play and find a penalty, but no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about there were some serious blatant calls they didn't
Yeah,
call.
Yeah.
he's talking about
Okay.
this. He's talking about this right here. He's talking about this.
Some
This is
holding. There was some
ridiculous. This is
holding on
ridiculous.
Look
Jalen
at that.
Phillips.
Look at that.
Yes.
This
Look
is
There
at
was
look
some
at look at
absolute-
James Bradbury. Look at him. He's holding his face mask, bare hand. He can yank this guy back. What is that?
That looks like the Ryan Fitzmagic play when he got his face absolutely
Yeah.
torn by a
Yep.
defender. That's what that
Yep.
looks like.
And he still
Yeah.
made the throw, and the catch was made.
That
We
was an
got this
incredible
guy's arm around
kind of a
Jalen
throwback.
Phillips' neck. We got this guy around this guy's neck. It was ridiculous. 0 penalties in a game is that's crazy.
These refs were paid, man.
But
Well,
you guys
Sirianni,
saw that
bro.
one of the you guys saw that one of the refs was from Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was about to
Yeah.
say that. The
Yeah.
head referee at the game grew up 65 miles north and has been caught for tampering before
Yeah.
Yeah.
officiating.
Great.
And he is a
Good
Philly
job,
fan.
NFL.
He is a Philly fan. I mean, who does the background checks on these guys? Please
Good
hire
job,
me.
NFL.
Yeah.
The best offense in the league, okay? And half of these penalties would have been game breaking.
No, yeah, the
Would've-
face mask would have definitely
on.
made the game so much more competitive, and I think that's. I mean, we
I will
lost.
say though,
It was a fair
I will
loss. I think we still would have lost that game, but the refereeing was definitely.
I want to say a couple of things about the face mask. The face mask, first of all, it was a horrible penalty. We probably would have scored on that drive. The only thing is, though, I'm pretty sure that was 4th down, right?
Yeah,
And
it was.
right when the Eagles got the ball back after that 4th down was the pick 6 by Jerome Baker. So we ended up scoring on that drive kind of anyway.
And you know, ball doesn't lie, so
Yeah.
boom.
The other thing I want to mention really quickly is we didn't have our full team. We had 3 out of 5 offensive linemen not playing. David Long and Javon Holland got hurt when they ran into each other. They didn't play. Xavier Howard didn't play. Jalen Ramsey hasn't played the whole season. That's not really
Yeah,
an
no,
excuse,
man.
but
Our
still, he didn't
defense,
play.
our defense is only gonna get better. The Dolphins are only gonna get better. See you guys in the
Yeah.
playoffs. That's all I gotta say.
See you
Guys,
in the
I'm
Super Bowl.
telling you, we're
Jalen
coming
Waddle
for
got
the
hurt
Super
as
Bowl.
well.
This year's our year. I know we sound like Cowboys fans, but this
Let's
year's
go,
our year, guys.
Fins.
All right, we're gonna go rapid fire. Last segment of the podcast, we're gonna do our Week 8 predictions. So, let me go to the Week 8
Rapid
schedule
fire.
right here.
Thursday
Yeah,
game.
we'll just
Everyone
go-
just say who's gonna win.
Okay. So last thing though, we record this on Thursday, like we mentioned already before Thursday Night Football. So we're gonna predict this Thursday Night Football game here, but this video will be posted after the game is over, so you guys will be free to make fun of us if we get some things of Thursday Night Football wrong. But let's go, Mark. Who you got? Buccaneers, Bills.
Bills.
Bills, Oscar.
I got the Bills, man.
You got the Bills. You know, I hate the Bills, but I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are winning it. All right, that's just Bills suck. Jets, Giants, Battle of New York. Who you guys got?
Giants.
You know what? I think the
Giants,
Jets
wow.
are gonna pull through on this one.
Yeah,
Tyrod Taylor's
I-
carrying, man.
I
Better than
hope the
Daniel
Giants.
Jones.
I hope the Giants win, but I got the Jets. All right, we got Jags, Steelers.
I think the Steelers are gonna pull out with this one.
Yeah,
Steelers,
man.
so.
I think it's gonna be a poop show, but I think some weird way the Steelers are gonna find a way to win, man. I think the Steelers got this one somehow.
Yeah, I hope you guys are all right, but I just have to go with the Jaguars. They're 5-2
Hey,
right
man.
now.
Yeah, it's
They're
gonna be a
rolling.
great
Hey,
match.
you're not-
Great match.
Should be a great game.
All right, Eagles, Commies. What's going on?
These guys have history, you know, and I wouldn't be mad if the Commanders win, but I think the Eagles are gonna take this one this time.
Hey, man. Every team has their bogey team, and this is the Phillies bogey team, man. The Commies are gonna win this one. They do every year.
That's
It's
true.
just the Commies always gotta win over Philly somehow, some way.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm gonna go with the Commanders as well for the same exact reasons that Oscar just mentioned. They always find a way to lose against the Commies. Rams, Cowboys.
Great game. It's
Great
gonna be a
game,
great
really.
game. Yeah, I think this would be a great game. I got Rams, man.
Nah,
I got
I think
Rams.
the
I got-
Cowboys are gonna. I think Cowboys take this one pretty easily.
Yeah,
Rams
I
are
got the
still trying
Cowboys
to
as
figure it
well.
out somehow on defense.
Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
Cowboys. All right, Vikings Packers battle of the NFC North. What's going on?
Vikings, this is their get back game. I just feel like
Yeah.
they're gonna win this one.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
so as well.
the Vikings are on the come up. Falcons Titans, the battle of absolute mid. What is happening?
This is gonna be as mid as it gets. I hope it's a tie.
You hope it's a tie.
That would
Well,
be
personally,
interesting. What a great call out. That would be insane if that actually happens. I think somehow Youngmin Koo is gonna hit a 50-yard field goal to win the
another
game.
one.
Falcons.
Nice.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
understand.
Titans because I'm really hoping Derrick Henry gets back and my trade will actually
Boo!
work
No,
out
I'm
for me.
just-
I'm gonna go Titans.
No, I hope Derrick Henry does well, man. He deserves it.
Yeah, we'll go Patriots Dolphins. I actually just got a notification on my phone. Tyreek Hill has a hip injury and he will play against the Patriots. He said he's good to go. Just got it live on ESPN.
Just got that too, boy.
Dolphins.
Dolphins,
it doesn't
easy
matter.
win. Dolphins, easy
Easy.
win.
Dolphins,
Yeah,
it's not gonna be an easy win, but Dolphins are gonna win.
I think.
Yeah,
it is.
I think we're gonna have to
get back
grind it
in.
out a little bit because divisional games always get a little crazy, but we're gonna win even if Tyreek Hill didn't play. So Dolphins, Saints, Colts. Now that's the battle of mid. What's going on there,
Dude, Chris Olave is not gonna play because he got arrested for speeding. I think.
Yeah, I saw that. So I got the Colts on this one, not just because of that, but just because the Colts are on the come up, man. They're
Yeah,
finally
I think the
improved
Colts are
and
gonna do this
playing
one
good.
as well.
I'll go with the Colts as well.
Yeah.
Texans, Panthers.
Dude,
Battle
number
of
one
the
overall versus number
Yep.
two.
Yep.
Number two's gonna take it. I got Texans over here.
I think this is the game. Carolina finally wins one.
Yeah, I was gonna pick the Panthers, but because you picked the Panthers, I'm gonna pick the Texans. All right. We got the Browns and the Seahawks. Whew. I'm gonna go with the. I want the Seahawks to win. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks.
You know
It'll be a
what?
close
Yeah, I
game.
would have to say the Browns are the favorites, but I don't know why, man. The Seahawks are a good team. I just feel like they might edge this one out. I think they can. They got really good coaching, and if the Browns offense doesn't play good, I think the Seahawks could win this one.
I think the Seahawks as well. I hope Kenneth Walker goes off and gets me 3 touchdowns because I have him in fantasy. So go Seahawks.
All right, Bengals 49ers. I think it's actually going to be a really good game if the Bengals can get things on track.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It'd be crazy if the 49ers lose 3 straight. So for that reason,
I don't think that's
going to
happen.
Niners. Yeah, for that
I'm
reason,
gonna go
I
Niners
gotta
as
go
well.
Niners.
All right, Chiefs versus the Broncos. I think we can move past this one.
Although Broncos country, let's
yeah.
ride.
Absolutely,
No.
the Broncos do give the Chiefs a lot
Taylor
of
Swift
problems.
by herself would average 100 yards.
If
a game
Taylor
versus the
Swift is at the
Broncos.
game, the Chiefs are gonna win. If Taylor Swift is not at the game, I got the Broncos.
I don't condone any Taylor Swift talk on this podcast. I don't want to talk about that. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs, but the Broncos, I think they could put up a fight. Ravens Cardinals.
Cardinals are gonna
Gotta go
find
Ravens.
some way to make it competitive, but come on now, the Ravens are gonna win this one.
Yeah, I think the
agree.
Ravens are gonna take this one as well.
Bears Chargers.
Is the Chargers
I gotta
bounce
go with the
back
Chargers.
game? Yeah, Chargers
Gotta go
bounce
Chargers.
back
I
last
think-
week.
I think this is Eckler's game, guys. I mean, Eckler's come back. He's been pretty.
Please, I have him in one of my leagues. I need him to do good. So
I think this is Eckler's game.
We all have Eckler in one of our leagues.
Yeah,
I have Eckler.
he's.
That's funny. The Chargers, I'm glad that they suck because they're in the AFC, but they're so annoying to watch because they have so many great players and they
Yeah.
always suck.
You know what
Yeah.
they are? They're that name brand product that should be good, but it's just shit.
Yeah,
Dude,
I'm still gonna pick the Chargers though. Sunday Night Football should be
Yeah.
a good matchup.
Yeah.
And then Monday night, Raiders versus the Lions. I think this is kind of a lame Monday night matchup.
Yeah, pretty
Primetime
lame. But
games
you
are
know
usually
what?
like that.
I think the Lions are an upset alert.
I
I think the Raiders
I-
might pull this one through somehow, some way.
Really? Wow.
I got one word to say. Raiders. Coach K, that's for you.
You guys are
I got the
picking-
Raiders
you guys
winning.
Are both, you guys are both picking the Raiders?
I think the Raiders are gonna win. I think Devontae Adams is about to go for 150 yards. He's mad. I mean, everyone knows that he's mad. He
I
doesn't
hope
want to be
so.
there. They're throwing the ball to him, bro. He's about to go off.
I hope he goes crazy, but I mean, Lions. I got the Lions. All right. Well,
All right,
that will
guys.
do it for the
It's been
reboot
great.
of the Get It Right Saturday Night podcast. I'm so happy you guys could make it. We could start this journey together, and Marco will join us soon. Hopefully, Lucas will join us for a couple episodes.
Yeah.
That is all for the first episode of the reboot. Signing off for now.
All
Colin
right, guys.
Fursley.
See you next
We got
week.
Mark Francis.
Oscar.
Mark
We
Francis
got
over
Oscar
here.
Morales.
Remember, guys, Saturday night is when you get it right. Have a great one. See you next
Peace
week.
out.
Later.